Welcome to the Jay and Brian Show, the fastest growing real estate finance podcast in America. Today's show is brought to you by My City Lender. Here now, Jay and Brian.
So Jay, who's this guy in our studio today?
This is a good friend of mine, Chris Kirkpatrick.
Some random guy. He found me on the corner of the street.
Yeah, he's a world famous YouTuber with Life180. He's the CEO and founder.
Awesome.
Appreciate you coming and joining us today.
No, it's awesome. I'm excited to be here. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have some fun conversations. So
it's been fun already.
Yeah, it certainly has.
Well, we spent the last hour already talking about what we were going to talk about and having a good time. But why don't you tell us more about yourself, Chris? What brought you to this place of being an awesome YouTuber? And founder and CEO of Life180.
That's a loaded one. So I honestly, like everything else in my life, I feel like the YouTube stuff I've just figured out just trying to do it for myself. I did a lot of work when I first got into the kind of entrepreneurial space, working with a guy named Brendan Burchard. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he's phenomenal. And he kind of has this mindset that really aligned with me, is like, before you hire anybody to do anything, you better learn how to do it yourself. Otherwise, you're going to get taken advantage of.
That's right.
Time, right. And so I learned how to get into YouTube. I just started making videos, and you fail forward like everything else in life. Right. And so I just kind of slowly learned what I was doing, and, you do something long enough, poorly enough, you get good at it. And
but I'd say you've gotten pretty good at it.
Yeah. Listen, it's been awesome. The channel's been a blessing. It's we get a lot of views. We get a lot of clients and leads and stuff out of it. But it's cool because YouTube's a fun platform because we can serve people. We can get good content out there in the world. Really help educate people. Really help them solve their problems. My channel is all about money, and that's why I think this conversation is going to be a lot of fun for you guys.
It's perfect.
And so I talk a lot about that, helping people regain control of their financial lives, or gain control for the first time in their life of their finances, which is typically the case, honestly. And so, we do that. And so, it's interesting because it's not like the sexiest of topics, right? But the bottom line is, if we think about YouTube and one of the reasons, if it's worth doing, I saw a sign somewhere around here. It's like, that made me think about this quote. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing poorly until you're good at it. That's like one of the quotes that I kind of live my life by. Right. And so from that perspective, I was like,
Jay, we nailed that when we started this channel and our videos. That's awesome. I don't know, Chris, if you've seen our early videos, and Sean behind the camera there, you'll get a kick out of it. But
that's awesome.
They're bad. I mean, we're
bad?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Mine might be worse. I remember. So check this out. My wife will tell you this. So I remember the first YouTube video I ever made, and it wasn't even really designed for YouTube. I was, when I launched Life180 in 2014, I had to film a video, and I was so bad at it. We had a video guy come in, and luckily we had this office space in a big building, and there was a guy who did video production like 5 doors down from us, right? And so he comes in and he sets up in our conference room and he starts filming me, and he's like, I got this whole thing scripted out. We got a big flip chart and I've got it all bullet pointed. I'm ready to roll. I feel, but and listen, I'm pretty good with people. I'm good, conversationally like this, but I'd never done video before. And for those who don't understand what I'm talking about, doing one-to-one conversations across the table and doing a video, completely different thing. Right. And so I'm like, all right. So I get up there. No joke. My wife will attest to this. When you ask her, you'll laugh.
I will.
You laugh. It took me a day and a half to film a 2-minute and 42-second video. A day.
And look at you now.
And a half.
Look at you now.
To film a 2-minute and 42-second video. And so, and it was horrible. I look back at it now, and it's cringeworthy. It's cringy. Luckily, the guy who did the editing, did a pretty good job, right? And the animation, the motion graphics and stuff like that kind of make up for my complete awkwardness and whatever. Yeah. It's amazing what you can do.
So it's like an intro type video?
Yeah, it was like when you landed on our website, here's the video about what is Life180,
That's
that kind of
awesome.
Thing. And it was totally horrible. But
is that the one that's still there?
No.
Oh,
well, that would be awesome.
What are you saying?
I want to watch it now.
No, because I think I saw. It's really good. What's up there now? I'm just curious if that's.
Yeah, no. This has been down for a long time.
Okay.
But But I still have it on the YouTube channel.
Okay.
And it's just, you got to go way back in the search, history.
Ours, you don't have to go that far back.
Yeah.
But if you want a really good laugh.
19 videos.
I think I have over 800 videos on my channel now.
Horrible lighting.
So it's a lot,
Yeah.
But
so commitment. So you committed to the channel.
Well, and so here's the deal. Like I looked at it back then. And so YouTube, when I started, wasn't even owned by Google yet.
Right.
Don't forget. And so, but I knew like it was taking off. Like it was very obvious. The world was moving to video.
Yeah.
And I think it was like, I got to get ahead of this. This is where people are going. Yeah. I don't know if you remember a thing called Periscope. But Periscope came out, was the first live streaming.
And that got sketchy.
It did. But so here's the deal. I was so bad at doing YouTube, but I knew video was the future. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I first started doing video about money, all these people coming from the people that I had at the corporate job, the relationships that I had in the industry, because I had had a lot of success in the insurance business. Mm-hmm. And so I had a lot of relationships with a lot of successful people that have been doing it for a long time. And they're like, Chris, you're crazy. Nobody's ever going to watch a YouTube video and then call you and work with you and do all this. You're insane if you think people are going to watch you randomly and call you from some random state, other place in the country and want to work with you. That's not how this world works. I was like, well, we'll try anyway. I think because one way or the other, I just knew that if I could just get this information out there, it would be valuable. And and then Google buys YouTube in the middle of it all, and so YouTube obviously went through some transitions or whatever. But if you think about it now, like if you look at the world that we live in today, and I knew this back then, but especially now, Google is the number one search engine in the world, right? YouTube is the number 2 search engine in the social Do you know that?
Because it's a library of content. People go back to it. They go back to it and search for.
Exactly. A lot of people think of YouTube as a social media site, but it's cool because it's a social media site combined with a search engine. And it's honestly, it's the number 2 search engine in the world. Yep. And if you think about it, it's become kind of like Kleenex in the world of like, you go, I need to learn how to something. I'm going to YouTube it.
How to do it.
Right.
I learned how to sweat copper pipe. YouTube.
Exactly. I learned how to
school of.
Anytime, so I'm the least mechanically inclined person you'll ever meet in your life. My wife still picks on me because I built an IKEA shelf and it's like tilted sideways. So that's how bad I am, right? And so
I want to see that too.
She goes, the only thing you're good with is your phone, but luckily you're really good with your phone, So I'm not good with stuff, but like I have a Jeep and I love my Jeep and like as horrible as I am, like I've installed like running lights in a cage and, running boards and a lift and all these different things. And I've done it all through YouTube, like watching YouTube
That's
videos.
Incredible.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. That's incredible.
I it's funny because I hate doing things with my hands, like unless it's typing, like I'm not a physical work kind of guy. But for some reason I love doing that. But YouTube is how I did it. And so if you think about it, anybody can create, and I believe everybody should create a YouTube channel, just cause. And so,
but it's hard. And it takes the commitment. And this is why we're excited to have you here. Because Jay and I,
it's going to be fun.
Because Jay and I are trying to build our channel, and we know that a lot of people in our industry, loan officers, real estate agents, could seriously benefit as well from building up a not just a social media presence, but a YouTube, a video presence like that. Yeah. And so that's why we want to learn from that as much as we can from you. I mean, Chris has, for our listeners who don't know, he's 17, 20,000.
Yeah, we're almost at 18,000 now.
Okay.
Which is interesting because like you got YouTubers with millions of people, right? Like Mr. Beast's got 100 million on like 2 different channels and 20 million on another one. Like he's like whatever. So the idea of like it's not a lot, but in this industry.
Yes, I was going to say in the financial industry, to have that many subscribers on any one particular YouTube channel.
You've reached a position of influence and
very
obviously
influential.
We can learn from how you got there.
Totally. And what I'll say is this, is that YouTube, a lot of people look at YouTube as like, are you monetizing? And how... What are you earning from like ad revenue on your channel? And that's how YouTubers, the pure creators, look at it. I look at it, so I call it your authority platform, right? And so if we think about it, if you're a real estate agent, mortgage broker, life insurance agent, financial advisor, anybody that's in that kind of services-based industry, right? I believe everybody should have their own authority platform, because it was a decade ago or before, nobody would, the whole way you would do your business is you go to chamber events, you go to networking events, you join a BNI or do something like that, right? And you do your thing, and you'd build this little sphere of influence, and you'd try to network inside of that, and you'd get referrals and like all these things, and it makes me want to vomit. But like, I
love it.
That is like, oh gosh, I wouldn't be in this business still if I had to do that. Like, here's the deal. Like at this point in time, especially in COVID, just catapulted this into the future. It took what was going to take the next 10 years and it made it happen in 2, right? People now, I can tell you this because I was here before it happened and I'm here now. And I could tell you where I had to convince people to hop on a Zoom with me now. Now nobody wants to meet me in person. Yeah. Like this is one of the first times I've come in person and done an interview like this.
You were pretty excited about it.
I was jacked. I'm like, I get to get out of my house. I got to put pants on, honey.
Honey, do I have pants?
What am I gonna do? John's sick of watching me run around in my underwear. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. But like, so like I came up with this thing when COVID happened. And I kind of got into I saw an opportunity and I was like, listen, everybody needs to build their authority platform, because it used to be people, when we think about what we're doing to build our businesses, and I think we talked about this a little bit at lunch, is like we have to enter the conversation going on inside of the minds of the people that we're trying to serve and sell to and market to and all these different things. And I would argue if you're not serving them by marketing and selling them, you're doing the wrong thing. Like you better believe so much in what you do that not sharing it with them, not trying to sell them or market to them is doing them a disservice, right? Like you got to believe in your stuff so deeply that that's the case. And if you are watching this video and you're saying that's not you, well, then do something else. Like I believe very, very strongly in that. And so with that said, though, if that is you, if you do fall into that, I would also call you to action and say that you have a responsibility, like you guys. I'll just talk to you.
We appreciate that.
You guys, I mean, and you're doing it, right? You have a responsibility to take what you've learned and the information that you have to be able to serve people and pay it forward, to be able to help people reach their goals, and how are you going to do that? Like you have to build a YouTube channel. You have to build a sales funnel. You have to have different hooks and different ways to connect with people and their personalities and the technical things, help them solve their problems. And you got to have a system and a path and a way to communicate. And like, I call that your authority platform, all those things together, your YouTube channel, your Instagram, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, all your social platforms, what they all have to go somewhere. You have to have a path. You have to have a, like a value ladder is what we call it in marketing terms, right? Where, the bottom of the value ladder is like a bunch of hooks, a bunch of like little videos, or whatever that are adding value into people's life. And then as people watch those videos, as people watch your content, get into programs that you would have, depending on, what anybody who's watching this video does, but ultimately, what is your guys' goal for the people that you work with? It's to help them get a mortgage, to get a dream home, to take that next step in life.
It's home ownership. It's financial goals.
Yeah.
And to have peace of mind.
Stability.
In that, right?
Absolutely.
Peace of mind, stability, trust.
And to have,
knowing.
that was where I was going with it, is to actually have somebody that they know that they can count on.
Totally.
That's going to be absolutely transparent with them and honest and get them to the finish line.
Right.
Answer the phone.
Yeah.
And so here's the cool part.
Right? Bad news when it's needed.
Here's the cool part, right? So you guys have done this on a one-to-one-to-one basis for years.
Yeah.
Fair enough?
Yep.
So, okay, so you're really good at that. It goes back to me being really good one-to-one-to-one with people and being horrible on video, right? You got the one-to-one down. I would argue that you have the information that you need. You have a responsibility to get it out there to the masses. Now, are you going to work with every single person that watches your videos? No. But it's not about that. It can't be about that. Like, you can't go into relationships and to conversations with people with any of that conversation being about you, right? It's got to always be about them.
Right.
And you have to help identify their challenges, identify the problems that they have in their life, their hangups. Sometimes they're emotional, sometimes they're technical, sometimes they have bigger gaps because they have debt and credit issues or whatever. But make no mistake about it, that's an emotional thing, right? Like you got to help them kind of navigate that. They have fear, they have self-limiting beliefs, they have all these things that are happening. So I mean, I've never been a mortgage person, but I just know like you guys are more counselors than anything else in a lot of circumstances.
It is a magical thing when borrowers do come to our office and we get to sit down with them and have this one-on-one time with them, and the walls really come down. We're able to get below the surface and understand what they're really about. What are they trying to accomplish, and help them get there and put this plan together for them. It's really awesome.
It's amazing.
I love it.
So I would just say, you guys have that heart of service. You have that desire to help people solve these problems. You don't sell mortgages, you solve problems. That's what you do. And whether you're a real estate agent, life insurance agent, mortgage broker, I would encourage every one of you to stop identifying as that and start identifying as a problem solver. Like, period. That's it. Like, don't make it more complicated than that.
Professional problem solver.
If you you got to know how you solve their problems. But think about it. It helps you connect with people way better. And if you're doing one-to-one conversations or if you're creating videos, you just understand that how you're communicating with people, that the way you show up in people's lives, the way you ask questions, you're not being like, hey, you looking to buy a house? I got a mortgage for you. It's like, just talk to people, have authentic, genuine conversations, care. Like like if you're gonna be able to identify challenges, you better get really good at asking good questions.
So Brian and I were just talking about this morning, actually, about how, sometimes when it comes to anything financial services related, whether it's life insurance or it's insurance policies in general, mortgages, anything, people don't really want to even think about it until they have to think about it.
Right.
And so how do you stay in front of the conversation before it needs to happen?
That's a great question.
That's a good question. So
that's where this comes in. Being able to inform on a regular basis.
It's so powerful. So think about it this way. Nobody wants to be sold to, but everybody wants to buy. Right? Like everybody, they know they need the mortgage. They know they need life insurance. They know they want to get a house, but they don't want to be sold to by a bunch of real estate agents why they should work with them. They don't want to be sold why you're the best mortgage person. They don't want to be sold why my company is the best life insurance company. Like, they don't want to have those conversations. What they want to be able to do is be able to be an educated consumer, to be able to evaluate content and information. Well, let's just call content just information in whatever media. It just happens to be video is the most desired media at this point in time. So they want to be an educated consumer, consume the information that they want so they can make an educated, informed decision with them and their spouse, period. Right? What's the best way to do that? You're not going to be able to do that one-to-one, or it's not scalable, and you're probably going to have a hard time at this day and age to do that.
Right.
By going online and having a YouTube channel and social media and stuff, you can just have your authority platform. So anytime anybody wants to see anything, even if you talk to somebody, it's just like, hey, go check this out. Now you don't have to make the close, you get to do it. Now I'll tell you this, my YouTube channel, like for 6 years, I had nothing to sell anybody, and I would have 30 people a week call me and ask me to help them. And I couldn't sell them anything.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
So what did you do?
I just gave them to other people for years. And finally this year we created something. So now we have something going on that's official, which is amazing. But like, it just goes to show, if you don't have to sell, you don't have to have, does it help to have the right, clear call to action? If it makes sense and if it's authentic, then yes, absolutely. But it's really just about serving people. And if you get your message right and you know who you're speaking to and you're solving their problems and you're helping add value to their life, it'll all work out. You just got to be willing to be bad to be good, and you got to be consistent. And it's the compound effect. We all know, like, everybody thinks about compounding of money, right?
Yep.
Okay, so compound, the hockey stick concept, right? Is like you earn whatever percent and it compounds the penny a day doubled concept. You guys familiar with that?
Yep.
Right. So you go, for those who are not familiar with it, we'll just talk about it for a second. So the concept of penny a day doubles, you go to most people and you say, I could give you a penny today, or a penny a day doubled, or $1 million today. What are you going to take? And most people would say $1 million because they don't understand compounding. They don't, like, whatever.
Yep.
The reality is a penny 31 days from now is worth 10.3 million if you double it every day. Now, if you went 27 days in, it's not worth the $1 million yet, right? It's not, like, you're still way ahead if you took the million. But if you just give it enough time,
3 more days,
just keep holding on. That's the whole 2 feet from gold concept, right? It's like, you're almost there. Don't stop. And so if it's worth doing poorly until you're good at it. And you just got to be consistent. You got to take advantage of compounding. And people don't realize that compounding operates in our business the same way that it works with money. Mm-hmm. Period. Like, I worked building my channel for 2 years before I saw any results. And then I started seeing some uptick. And I'll tell you, finally 6 years in, a hockey sticked.
So how many videos would you say you had published up until that time in the first 2 years?
300.
That's a lot.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot.
Is it worth it? I can tell you now, though, between everything that's ever come through my channel, the money that the leads that I gave to other companies and the leads that have come through us and other partnerships and stuff, between life insurance and other things that we've done, the channel's done over 4 million in revenue.
That's
probably
incredible.
From that stuff alone.
That's incredible.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, and I'm sure that just the goodwill of having given these prospects to others to actually convert it has absolutely come back to you in other ways.
Yeah. That's definitely, you know, you pay it forward. Like, but that's the thing is, like, you know, we were talking about this at lunch. I'll go here now is if you want to be successful doing any of this, is you got to find, I just did a video on this. It's like, there's 4 steps of success. It's the first step is find people who are on your path, right? Because people make decisions emotionally. They validate those decisions with logic. You are where you are. Hopefully, you're a mortgage person, you're a real estate person, you're a life insurance person, you're whatever services person you are, because you have an emotional connection with it, right? It's not just about you making money, right?
Correct. 100%.
So if that's the case, I'm going to challenge you to really think about, like, why you're doing it and what was that emotional reason, because you made that decision. Now, here's the challenge, and this is just human nature. This is natural for everybody. I went through this process. You probably did. You probably did. Like, most people do. Most people have to struggle a little bit till they figure this out. But the bottom line is, we made an emotional decision. And then what happens is we want to validate our emotions with logic, right? And so what do? We go learn deeper. We try to, like, understand and make sure we made the right emotional decision, right? So for me, I learned about the life insurance stuff. I learned about the money. I learned I got excited about it, solved my problems. I go into it, I learn all the technicals. I read 30 books on it. I spend 10,000 hours mastering it, becoming an expert. And now all of a sudden, and I did this, by the way, I became so excited about the technicals and the logic and the math and all that stuff that I was like, oh my gosh, everybody needs to know this. So I just started doing content on all the math and all the logic and all the
the stuff that you got excited about.
And you know what happened? Nothing. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. So that's the same in every business. You know, you got to connect with people emotionally. You got to understand what are the emotional hangups that they have, so you can help them solve those. Right.
Yep.
And once you do that, you're going to see, like, the whole sky open up. You know what I mean? And so when you find people who are on the same path as you, this is where it makes it awesome, because you can lead with story. You can be authentic. You can talk about your story, share, and you don't have to sell hardcore. And then if you add an authority platform on the back of it and you have a YouTube channel, when you start sharing, you don't have to, like, try to hard close them and set up an appointment. You just let them know, hey, I got this channel. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on YouTube. Do this, do that. Follow me on LinkedIn. What platform are you on? Like, just go there. I'm there. Check it out. Connect with me, like, whatever. So if you do that and you say, okay, I'm going to find people around my path because I know those are the people that I can speak to. One of the biggest things that people think about with misunderstand about any of this stuff is that I have to be an expert, right? Like, I have to be the best of the best of the best. So
probably what stops people, keeps people from turning the cameras on in the first place.
Totally. It's the number one killer of success in the world. And if I look at one thing that I was blessed with and gifted with, it's not that I'm talented. It's not that it's that I was given a gene that never turned on about caring about looking bad. Like, that
is a great quality.
I don't care, you know, like
that. So we were talking about that too,
right?
You finally get to a point in your life where you're just like, you know what, whatever. Like, I really don't care.
Like, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. You know, what people think of, you know, how I look that day or what, you know, whatever, you know, 100%. You just have to get over it.
Yep. And so if you understand that you got into the business for the reason, you find people on your path, you can speak to it authentically, you can go down that path, and now you get to share your story, because guess what? You only have to be 6 months ahead of them. Your best client is somebody who you were 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, like whatever it is. You can relate to them because now you can speak to them, and you can, like me, I'm married. I got 3 kids. There's all sorts of things that go along with that. Right. Like, so I want to find people who are on my path. That's why I went to an event called Funnel Hacking Live. Right. And there's 5,000 entrepreneurs there that are on fire. They don't all do the same business as I do.
Okay.
But if you were to look around the audience, most of them are between 25 and 45.
Yep.
A lot of families, some obviously not like entrepreneurs, what are younger, but a lot of families, a lot of, people that are fitting kind of like who I am. We do different things, but our hearts and our minds and our goals and our missions to impact the world doing our own unique thing was the same. Yeah. But I know I do money. So what do? Everybody needs money. Everybody needs a better relationship with money. So going in and just connecting with them and being able to serve them and like whatever.
I like that, actually. I like what you just said.
What did I say?
That everybody needs a better relationship with money.
Yeah.
Like, that's profound. And it's so true. Like, so many people are so lost.
Oh gosh.
With their relationship with money.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm going to sidetrack from what I was talking about because I got to go here now.
I did it to you.
So check this out. So I always say this, and this is what I love this is I'm writing my new book, and I actually got done writing this last night. And so this section of the book last night.
How many hours a day do you work?
A lot.
A
lot. But I I don't
it's
work.
Awesome.
I don't work.
But
like that's the thing.
It's like
I woke up at 4 o'clock yesterday. Yeah. Like I never set an alarm clock. I woke up at 4:09 yesterday. I woke up at 4:51 today.
Yeah.
Like I just like whatever my body does, and I'm excited every time.
Let's go.
Oh, when it's a labor of love.
Yeah. And so check this out though. Let's go here. I believe if I were to ask you, I want to ask you guys, what are the 4 most important things in your life? And then I'll probably challenge you a little bit.
God, wife, kids, company.
Okay.
Same.
Okay. So I broke it down a little differently. It's very similar. Faith. I love acronyms, by the way, so you'll understand. Faith, family, fitness, finances.
Fitness is a good one.
Fitness is just because I wanted 4 F's.
Okay.
No, it's really health.
No, but fitness is integral to your ultimate success, though, keeping a healthy body.
It's health.
Yeah.
I kind of jabbed at myself in the book, but it's like, it should be FFHF, but it's FFFF, whatever. But faith, family, fitness, finances. And if you think about it, can you outsource your success in your faith and be successful?
Nope.
Can you outsource your success as a spouse and a father?
Nope.
No. Can you outsource your success with your fitness, with your health?
Nope.
No. So how in the world have we, now we get to the finances. Most of America is trying to outsource their success, and it's no wonder 95% of people are failing. Think about that.
That's interesting.
I'm digesting.
I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm not a financial expert, so I'd rather have somebody who knows more than I
understand,
helping me manage my.
Okay. This is going to be fun.
I can just see him blowing holes in that right now.
So think about this. So yeah, that's what we've been programmed to think. Okay. I'm going to challenge everybody because listen, you guys and me, we're way ahead of where most people are in life. Fair enough?
Fair.
For most Americans, right? There are people who are plenty further ahead than we are.
Yes,
right?
Definitely. For sure.
Yep.
And that's like, so I'm not saying that egotistically or arrogantly. Mm-hmm. It's just like, we're all on a journey. My journey is different than your guys, right? Like everybody's on their own journey. But the bottom line is you are where you are in life because of who you are in life, period. And if we know that money is one of the 4 most important things in our life, and we can't outsource the success in the most important things, and that I would argue that money and our relationship with money and who we are with money and how we handle money has a direct impact to how we show up with our faith and how we can give back to community and church and tithing and organizations that we want to support and missions and stuff of that nature. It shows up very obviously in the fact that most divorces are caused by financial stress and kids being able to, like just money has an impact. Health, fitness, stress around money is the number one common stress in the world. Stress is the greatest cause of disease. So I would argue that you not only should not outsource to some financial advisor that really doesn't care about your success. I mean, I know some people do. That's a blanket, that's a pretty bold statement, but it's like, they're not going to care as much as you do, nor should they, right, about your own success. And with something that important, I would say you have it, not only should you, but you have a responsibility to your faith, to your spouse, to your kids, to your health, to your life, to become who you need to be with money. And when you do, the rest of your life will completely change.
Wow.
Thoughts?
If I could fall over right now, I probably would ask.
Pretty awesome.
That was,
I mean,
that's pretty profound.
So that's that, right? And so,
I mean, it's not like I don't look at and study my investments, but I don't really study it. I don't really study the markets. I don't really, you know what I mean? I let my guy do that.
Okay. Let's keep this conversation going. So,
I mean, I was excited to have him in as a counselor for us in terms of the YouTube channel, and hoping that our audience, would want to hear, a lot of people.
Now, how do you feel?
Now I'm like, Chris, speak into my life.
Oh man. So
how much do we owe you?
No. So here's the thing that I see, because I talk to a lot of people and about money, right? That's just what we do. And we have a unique strategy, and the thing that drives why I do what I do is because I realized, sadly, that if I were to go talk to most people, like you guys, pretty naturally conservative human beings, like from a financial perspective, from a like everything kind of perspective, like your faith and all that stuff. And so when we look at that, I would, and I don't want to like call you out, but like my guess is your money and your values and beliefs are not in alignment. And I find that to be with everybody. So like, and I'll just give you an example. So I talk to people all the time and I say, okay, you're struggling with money, and they'll tell me their story, and I'll say, you're struggling with money. Why is that? And they'll tell me what they think. And here's what I do know. The human brain is only going to allow you to put 100% of effort into something that you believe with 100% certainty you'll be successful with. There's a great book, if everybody hasn't read it. It's called The Ant and the Elephant by Vincent Pacenti. He was an Olympic downhill skier. Phenomenal little fable about the power of the subconscious mind. And it's literally a must read. And when you realize that we all are trying to just like white knuckle life, right? Like, and just grit through it and just like consciously plow through, like, I need to do this and this and this and this and this. But we all have our subconscious beliefs that are self-limiting, that are like, that were pre-programmed in before you even know that they were there, right? And this happens. And so I don't know if you know this, but when you make a conscious decision, there are 4 million neurons in your brain that are firing to help you kind of execute and follow the task. But did you know that your subconscious is 4 billion neurons? And so that's the equivalent of an ant being on top of an elephant thinking it's going to steer that elephant.
That's perspective right there.
Wow.
Okay. And so I'm telling you, got to read this book. It's pretty awesome. And so when you realize this, and then it goes back to is your money in alignment with your values and beliefs? Our values and beliefs are everything, right?
Yep.
They're how we show up as a husband. And I'll just talk to you guys. They're how we show up as a husband. They're how we show up in our business. They're how we show up as a parent. They're how we donate to church and political causes. And they're why we make the decisions that we make. Are we gonna go buy a new car or an investment property right now? Well, it depends. What do I believe the rest of the world is going through right now? Is it worth it? Is it a good time? Is it this? Is it that? But here's the challenge. Most people I would talk to, and I'm gonna put you guys on the spot. How do you feel about like our national debt right now?
It's
how do we feel about it?
Crazy out of control.
I just $31 trillion. How does that make you feel?
Not good.
Okay. Do you think it's going to get better or worse?
Worse.
Okay. So subconsciously, your internal, can I convince you, right? You think it's going to get worse, and I feel this way, so I'll just put it in your mouth. You feel like it's going to get worse, just like the world is round, right?
Sure.
Like me trying to convince you that the national debt is going to get better is like me trying to convince you the world is flat.
Well, you'd have to convince me that the leadership and the politicians are all of a sudden going to change course.
Fair enough. Okay. So that means yes.
Yeah.
So, because I'm not going to be able to convince you of that. So you go, okay, national debt's going to go up. Do you know how much unfunded liabilities? Have you ever looked at us.org?
No, not recently.
It'll give you anxiety. Don't do it. We got over $170 trillion of unfunded liabilities in this country.
Wow.
Okay. Interest rates are going up. Do you know that every 1 percentage point the federal funds rate goes up, it's an extra $300 billion a year just to service the debt?
That doesn't surprise me at all.
On our country.
Yeah.
That's they were freaking out about like $4 billion to build a wall.
Yeah.
Now, not to get political, but but just case in point, that's $4 billion. We're talking $300 billion with no productive value. We might as well just light it on fire.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
That's where we're going. So if I asked you, how are they going to do this? How are they going to pay for it? What do you think?
I have no answer.
Okay. So that now this is the exercise. So that goes into your subconscious. You don't know. Mm-hmm. It's not going to work. In your mind, in your subconscious, you don't believe it's going to work. Okay. So now, and you don't have to give details, but I'll tell you, most Americans now, and most Americans that I speak to that share your values and beliefs about that share my values and beliefs about that. I go to them and I say, well, what are you doing with your money? I got a job. I got a 401k. My company contributes. I save in an IRA.
I got
a bit of a Roth.
Investing it in certain places.
Right.
Yeah. We hear the same. We see the same thing. We hear the same thing, and we see the same patterns on people's credit reports. And it's the same pattern that we're seeing as a country right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's scary.
So it's very scary, and it doesn't really matter which side of the aisle you're on.
No.
The pattern is.
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't. But it is, I think, to Chris's point, that is the problem.
That is the problem. And I would argue that we, as people who have our values and beliefs, we have the ability to control our results. But you can't control the results in your life if you are playing the game the same way everybody else does. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
Okay.
And so not only that is like there's a huge savings issue in this country. And I think what happens is the human brain's only going to allow you to put 100% of effort into something you believe with 100% certainty you're going to be successful with, right? So if I look at the world and I go, that's not going to work, I might as well just enjoy life right now while I can. Why save money? So honestly, when I look at it like that, I can't even blame people, because when you look at the psychology behind it, it's like, well, of course that's what's happening.
That's what I was just going to say is like, it's really, it's kind of been ingrained in all of us because of this lack of,
life's too short.
Yeah. Or just a lack of faith in the system in and of itself.
It's disgusting. Like, so this morning I was going through numbers and I'm putting together this presentation and for a keynote thing that I'm doing. And I look at the statistics. This is going to blow your mind. So the Dow Jones Industrial Average, I don't know what this has to do with what we were just talking about, but it just came into my mind. The Dow Jones Industrial Average from 1929 to 1979. Do you know what the average rate of return, the actual rate of return annualized
over those 50 years?
4%.
4.04%. Good call.
Yeah.
Do you know what the rate of inflation was during that period of time? Average.
7.
2.98. So what does that mean? If I put money in an account, I'm only really increasing my investment account. I'm only increasing my purchasing power by an average of 1% per year. Is that going to get you anywhere?
No.
So why do people believe? So the thing is, the financial industry has taught people and convinced people to buy and hold, weather the ups and downs, give up control of your money, keep it there, let it grow. Whether it just you don't lose if you don't take it out, right? Like it's just let it go,
and you got to keep it there until you're 59
until you're 59 and a half, exactly. And I'll get back to that. And so they do that. And so here's the deal: people have bought into that. Why? Because I was born in 1980. right? From 1980 to 1999, do you know what the average rate of return was?
80 to 99. I would guess 7.
8%.
14.32.
Whoa.
Inflation, 4.2. So when you break it down, if you invested in that time frame, you did pretty well. You know, your purchasing power increased by over 9%, 9.7%, right? So that's pretty good. And I'll just skip right to it, 2000 to today, we're back down below 2% range for purchasing power. And the worst part about it was over the last 20 years, we've had inflation, wage growth hasn't been nearly what it needs to be. The whole world is in a world of hurt right now, and there's no way around it. And that sounds gloomy, right? It sounds like there's not much hope, but the bottom line is like anybody can control their money. There's a reason 95% of people, and this is a sad thing, 95% of people are not on track or not able to maintain their standard of living when they retire right now. 95% of Americans. We have the most prosperous country in the history of this world. And somehow we've hit the place where 5 out of 100 people are able to maintain their standard of living and keep their dignity when they retire.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like there's, you know, people go through and they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on college and they come out not knowing how to balance a checkbook, not knowing how basic credit works, not knowing all the things that you guys do, all the things that we do, right? And like these are the things that are like, they're teaching kids the periodic table of elements and they don't even know what a credit score is.
Yeah. And that we see.
That's criminal, in my opinion.
We see that very regularly. Yep.
And that's criminal, in my opinion, right? And so, you know, I just look at this and I say, okay, let's go back to this. Is like, is your money in alignment with your values and beliefs? You made a comment like, no, you don't get access to your money until you're 59 and a half. Do you know that when you put money in a qualified account, first of all, do you know when qualified accounts were created?
No.
1980. I'm the same age as 401ks.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
It's very cool. So that means we have the first generation that's actually utilized these vehicles, right? Because we went before we had 401ks, which is what we call a defined contribution plan, right? We had defined benefit plans, pension systems. Companies would be responsible for that. Now, when you look at 80 to 99, that big boom in the market, why did that happen? And like when 401ks were created, were they good? The answer is yes, because the top marginal tax bracket back then was 70%. Now it's the lowest it's ever been. People freak out about taxes being high. Taxes have never been lower. Like from a long-term perspective, since the institution of the Federal Reserve in 1913, taxes have never been lower than they are right now. You know, it's a fun political thing to complain about, but there's the reality of it as well, right? And so when you look at this and you go, okay, taxes are at an all-time low, debt's at an all-time high, unfunded liabilities are at an all-time high, interest rates are going up, it's going to create stress on the tax base.
Which, by the way, the mortgage interest rates, this is like a 20-year high.
Yeah.
And this is my 19th year in the business, and it's the highest I've seen them.
Yeah.
So that's a reality.
Yeah.
For everybody out there listening and watching.
Totally. And so when we look at this and we go, okay, if I let's talk about our beliefs and our money now. Like if I say, what am I doing with my money? And I ask you what you're doing with your money, and you tell me, I've got an IRA, I got a 401k, this and that. Well, what do you believe? I believe taxes are going up. So when you put your money in that account, you realize you're giving up control of it. You're putting it in a place that you can't touch. You're giving it to the government because the government has the ability to tax that money away from you. Not only are you taking market risk now, you have opportunity cost because you can't access that money if an opportunity comes. Like if the market goes through a downswing, you can't take that money out and buy real estate with it and take advantage of the upswing.
You know, what's interesting is I was actually watching one of your videos from like 2016, and you were talking about just this.
Yes.
Just exactly what's going on right now.
Principles don't change. Like this has been coming for a long time. Like the one mistake that I made in my naivety as I've got into this business a while ago is that I massively underestimated the government's ability to manipulate stuff. Right.
Underestimated.
I think we all did.
I underestimated their ability to manipulate and to print money and, to write policies to change.
Well, even what's happening right now with the real estate market has been engineered with interest rates.
Totally.
You turn today, the national rate average. So this is nationally across the US, the national rate average for a conventional 30-year fixed mortgage today, 7.37%.
That's so gross. I mean, I say that. It's really not, though, from a long-term perspective.
It's really not. It's really not.
Our parents were looking at 12, 13, 14% back in the 80s.
My grandfather bought a house in 1981 for 19%.
Yeah.
It happens. But
that
was also the last time inflation was at the level it is currently today.
Sure.
And we're not done.
No, we're not done. It's going to get worse before it gets better. But it's like, there are a lot of people that want to scare the crap out of people and tell you the sky is falling and this and that. This is just a cycle. The market is cyclical. It's not linear. We go through this stuff. Now, what I will say is this cycle is probably going to be more substantially felt by people because we've kind of avoided and sidestepped some of the other ones through policy.
For many years.
And also rates have been so low for so long.
Yes, I mean, that's absolutely true. And I just did a video on this. Ben Bernanke just won a Nobel Prize. Did you hear this?
No.
He won a Nobel Prize for his research on how to avoid bank runs and how to bail companies out and avoid bank runs through printing money and monetary policy and all this stuff. So the crazy part is he wins a Nobel. It's you can't make this stuff up. He wins a Nobel Prize for his workings about how he avoided a complete Great Depression in 2008 and 9, right? So there's that. And then also his research helped them avoid the same thing happening in COVID, with the pandemic, right? With all the money printing, when we printed $5 trillion in 2 months, basically, right?
Yeah, I still don't see how that really helped.
No, well, so here's the deal. The guy wins a Nobel Prize after that, but now all of the reasons that we followed him are the reasons that we have inflation the way that we do, and the reasons that we're now having a new crisis. It's the moral hazards or the unforeseen consequences that are caused because of his prize-winning strategies.
Oh my gosh!
It's you can't make this. It's right out of a science fiction movie to me. But at the end of the day, I just believe and what really drives me to do what I do and share the information that I share and coach people with the strategies that I do is that there's no guarantee for success for any one of us in any way. I don't care if you're putting in a 401k, mutual funds, stocks, real estate, business, whatever. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantees. What I challenge everybody to think about is that your money, and I think you guys will agree with it, your money is just a tool. Right?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Money is just
Absolutely.
a tool. So tools, like all tools, I already told you how bad I am with this stuff. You put a hammer in my hands, it's not good, right?
But when you want it, you want to be able to have access to it.
And when I want to learn how to do something, I'll learn how to work on my Jeep. I'll learn how to turn a wrench. Maybe the hammer's not the right thing, but I'll get a wrench going. I'll do some other things, whatever. I'll get a lift. I'll jack it up. It'll be good. It'll be fun, right? So that's that. I would argue with you that you have a responsibility as a human being to learn how to master that tool, because it's going to have an overflow, because you have a responsibility to get better with your faith, to be a better husband, to be a better parent, to be, to do that. And whether you like it or not, one of my favorite quotes is, just because the ostrich buries his head in the sand doesn't mean the lion's dinner plans have changed.
That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
It's true. Think about it. Retirement, your financial freedom, your desires financially, what you want your life to look like, that's the lion that's coming after you. And the bottom line is, most people don't get there because they don't want to do what they have to do. They don't want to put in the work. They don't want to put in the time.
They don't want to have to deal with it.
They don't want to grow to become who they need to be to get to where they want to be. Right? And money is the biggest thing in your way, period. Mm-hmm. Because without getting that right, you won't show up. I promise you, you will never feel like you're completely fulfilled and showing up in these other most important areas of your life if you don't get that right.
That's phenomenal.
So I want to get this back to the social media YouTube thing.
Yeah,
No. Before we do, so would you tell somebody like me that I need to be my own financial guru, my own financial manager, educate myself to the best I can, make the decisions directly?
I would say at some point in time, if you hit a big enough level, then you can start outsourcing it. But like anything else, when I first started my YouTube channel, I edited all my own videos. I learned how to optimize all my own stuff. I did everything.
Right.
Because before I'm going to give money to somebody else or hire somebody to do something, I want to know the ins and outs of it so I can't get taken advantage of. Most people, I'm sorry, if you just want to hand it to somebody and make it their responsibility.
So I was talking about the financial success. I was talking about my investment portfolio,
okay.
but it also does relate to the YouTube channel because I mean at this point we are doing all of the production ourselves and I'm taking pride in that and I'm enjoying that process because
you're really good at it, Brian.
Because I feel like I mean it's like anything. I believe you should work to master something. You need to work to master something before you can ultimately be successful at it. And if you don't understand how the back end's working, like in mortgage, if we don't understand at all how the underwriting process works or how Tressa and Kim do their job really, really well as their processors, you can't ultimately be a great loan officer in my view. So when it comes to our videos and this, I feel like, no, I needed to learn what's the right mic? What's the right mixer?
Totally.
All
and
that.
You guys, by the way, baller setup. This is awesome. This is great. I love it. I'm coming back.
All right. Anytime.
But here's the deal. Principles are absolute, right? Like principles of success can't be shortcutted. Can't be sidestepped. And so it doesn't matter if you're talking about your money or this, like maybe the execution and the areas are different, but the principle of the fact that you better gain some level of mastery first. Now, could you just say, hey, I'm going to have my YouTube channel. I'm going to outsource it. I'm going to hire this company, whatever. Sure. You could try. It's probably going to fail. A lot of people do it with ads agencies. They just like, oh, I want to do ads. Like I tell you, I'll give this example. This is how I handle everything in my life. Like, I want to do YouTube ads. I've done the organic thing. We've done it. It's been great. And I'm like, but it's not going to scale the way that I want to scale. And so I'm like, next natural step is YouTube ads. And so I had all these people hit me up to do ads agencies, whatever. And then I just said like, no, that's not going to happen. And so then I went and I found the best of the best of the best. And I said, I don't want to hire you. I want to hire you to train my guy that I control how to do it.
That's good.
Period. I want control, and I want to learn it. And I'm taking time every month, every week when that guy teaches my guy, Clark goes through and he and I have a meeting every week and he updates me on, he spends 20 hours on it. I spend 1 hour on it and I learn it. And he takes his knowledge, he's going to execute, and I learn to the level where I at least understand it. I can speak the lingo. If I had to hop in and do something, I could. Pray to God I don't have to. But like it is what it is. But like we control that. If I put it out here, I'm now once again hoping that this company can get me to the promised land where I want to be. And that is not me taking the responsibility and accountability for the success and the level of success that I am after.
Right.
So I ask anybody, is your current level of action, activity, how you're showing up in life congruent with what you say you want in life? Unfortunately, most people, the answer is no.
I think he's just articulated why it is that I moved on from that company in Los Angeles that was helping me do those studio produced videos. And we talked about the live shorts were awesome and the most productive.
We said the whole time.
But I felt like I wasn't in control of the content and I wasn't, it wasn't genuinely
It really
me
wasn't him. And
on the screen. And that was
the issue.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the opportunity we have.
Yeah, and this is what we have consistently delivered is like this is us. This is genuinely us. This is us.
I love it.
And it started one day when we just said, we just need to do this.
Let's just do it.
Let's go grab a couple of USB mics, no lighting.
And that's it. That's awesome
script.
Though. But that's amazing.
Please do watch it. You'll get a lot of shot.
I'm going to. You guys got to put it on the end screen. Guys,
I'll never forget my opening line. Jay, this is momentous. This is we've been talking about doing this for a long time.
I think we talked about that for like 3 minutes. The whole intro was, can you believe we're actually doing this? Over and over again. Oh no, I can't believe this is like a monumentous occasion.
This
is unbelievable.
That's awesome.
Here we are. What do we say? What are we going to talk about today?
That's awesome. Well,
now you don't have to watch the video.
And no, I'm gonna go watch it now, because next time you come over to the house, it'll be funny. I'm gonna play it on. I'm gonna put it up on the TV, so when you walk in, that's what's gonna be on.
Look, Jay had a mullet.
It's terrible. Is that a buzz in the background? What is that?
That's awesome. So, like, at the end of the day, like, I just it doesn't matter if we're talking about your money or your business or whatever. The principles are the principles are the principles, and I would just argue that your money is one of the top 4 things in your life. Mm-hmm. And like all the other areas, you're not going to be able to outsource your success. You need to become who you need to be to get to where you want to go. That's a non-negotiable principle of success. It's kind of like saying you want to build this business, but you're not going to have to grow. Like, we are where we are because of who we are. That goes for me, for you, for every single person watching this video. Everybody's at a different stage. There's zero judgment behind that statement, right?
Yep.
Like, it's just a reality. True. Like, you look at Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is where he is because of who he is. Tony Robbins, like, he says this story from stage all the time. He's like, people come up to me all the time. It's like, you know what? I'm going to be worth $1 billion and I'm coming after you. I'm going to be doing all this stuff. I'm going to be right where you are in 2 years. And he's like, great. I'm going to be way past this by then. I hope you are where I am, because I'm going to be long gone, buddy. Like, that's the mindset.
Great.
You got to have a mindset of growth and abundance, and you got to be committed to it. You got to be willing to do these things. And like, listen, like, nobody's perfect. Like,
and to put yourself out there, especially if you're talking about YouTube and Spotify.
Totally.
I mean, you've got to get over the fear of yourself
100%.
and the camera and the audio or whatever it is that you're afraid of.
Totally. I mean, you guys are married, so, go talk to my wife. She'll tell you I'm not perfect. She'll tell you I don't get all this stuff down. I'm not like, I think that's the other thing. Everybody like holds them, like, we whip ourselves, like, about not being perfect. And if like, it's like, oh, I didn't do it right, so I'm just going to stop. Or I didn't, like, if it's worth doing poorly till you're good at it. Just keep going. Like, just because you failed, just because, like, you weren't going to drink that drink, or you were, going to show up better for your kids that weekend and take them out, but you didn't take them out for a daddy-daughter date, or like, you didn't do these things. And so now what are you going to do? Like, was it the right thing to do? Was it in alignment with where you wanted to go? Was it in alignment with who you wanted to be? Like, just because you didn't do it then doesn't mean it's not the right thing to do. Just get back on the horse and keep going. Mm-hmm. Fail forward, like, and don't, my wife and I always say this, don't should on yourselves, right? Like, don't should on yourself, and that is what it is. Like, just do the best you can. Give yourself some grace. But that's why my company is called Life180. It's living intentionally for excellence. That's it. And the reason that I did that is because, unfortunately, not enough people are living intentionally.
So is the 180 like turning from the old and turn to the new?
Most people are not getting the results that they want in life, so turn it around. Everybody listen, people way overestimate, and this is a big problem. People way overestimate what they can accomplish in a year, and they underestimate what they can accomplish in a decade. You have to think long term. You have to pick a vision. You have to set goals. I did this 30 video series. I'm working on it. It's not done. But I'm going to launch on the YouTube channel. And it's all about understanding your money. And the first video is the importance of setting financial goals. And it's so basic that it was pretty hard for me to like go back and like simplify it to that level. But in that process, you start to realize like the importance of setting goals is because, like Stephen Covey says in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, you got to begin with the end in mind so you can reverse engineer a plan to get there. Mm-hmm. And you got to connect with the why that is important to you. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yep. And for me, I can tell you it's my wife, it's my kids, and it's my legacy. It's my significance. I have a significance drive. I'm not ashamed to admit that. Yep. I want to make a dent in this universe.
And you shouldn't be.
I think every human does on some level, right? You want to have fulfillment and legacy and
purpose.
Find importance. I mean, one of my favorite things that I tell my boys is every single person that you come across out there, not a single person that you meet, it doesn't matter the car they're driving, the suit they're wearing, the size of their house, everybody on some level is struggling to find some level of significance or meaning or joy in life, no matter what they appear
That's so true
to be.
Yeah. I mean, I am the least money motivated person you'll ever meet in your life. I do not care about money. Like, I mean, we all need money.
Yeah.
But I care about my life. I care about my lifestyle. My wife and I made a conscious decision a long time ago that whatever we were going to do, it wasn't going to be about money. It was going to be about lifestyle. And if whatever we're doing on the money side, I mean, that's got to play into it. Money is an important tool, as we've talked about. It's one of the big 4 F's, right? So like, while it's there, that's what wealth is about having the money and the time freedom and the control so we can show up in life how we want to show up, right? Like, we all know, like my buddy Caleb, who's just this little whiz kid, not little whiz kid, he's 26 now, but he's brilliant, you know, and I've worked with him a bunch. He came up with this thing, and I heard him say it. I'm like, man, that's really good. I wish I came up with that. But he came up with this thing, and I was watching his keynote at a NAFA conference, and he says, Warren Buffett is worth how many billions of dollars? 80 billion or what? At the time, it was like $80 billion. Warren Buffett's 91 years old. Who in this room would trade places with Warren Buffett right now? Would you trade places with Warren Buffett?
No.
Mm-mm.
No. So what you just told me was that you value time over money. Period. I think any real honest person, some people might whimsically or flippantly say, yeah, I'd take the $90 billion or whatever. But I think if you really think about it, most people would say, no way. I'm 30 or I'm 40 years old. I got 50, 60 years ahead of me.
I want to figure this out.
I'm not taking $90 billion for that.
Mm-hmm.
So what most people, not everybody, but most people intrinsically in their gut, in their subconscious, believe is that time is more valuable than money. So we understand that on a macro level, but on a micro level, how we show up every single day, we don't show up that way.
But we end up wasting time.
We waste
despite that.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Like
that's troubling. It is. It really is. Like how much time we really do waste. It's troubling.
Yeah. So
such a good point.
So it's that stuff, but man, I don't know. Like I guess you know, in the interest, like, because I know you guys do the mortgage stuff and you're helping clients and you're helping mortgage people and just overall finances or whatever, but it's very similar to what I do. And it's just in a little bit of a different niche. Right. And so I would say in kind of going back to what I was saying before is like how to be successful. Like, you know, just what we were talking about at lunch, find people who are on the path that you're on. Make sure what you're doing is honest, authentic, congruent with who you are in life. Try to find people that are on that path. And then number 2, add as much value to their life as possible and give without expectation of anything in return. And you can't fake that. You have to do that genuinely. And when you do that, you know, then you go out and you just try to compress their time frame of knowledge, right? Make their job easier. You have spent hundreds of hours, if not thousands and thousands of hours, right? I've spent thousands and thousands and thousands of hours. So how do we take our journey and compress it for other people to make it simple? Because they're probably not going to be as passionate and dedicated to it initially, right? And then surround yourself with other people. And if you approach your business with that framework in your mind, you can never fail. I just wish people would get behind that.
That's so great.
It's probably a good place to leave this. I don't want to leave the conversation, but this has been awesome, Chris, having you here.
Oh, it's been great. Yeah, it's been fun.
Really appreciate
do it again.
How can people find you?
Yeah, you can just Life180 on YouTube, life180.com. But if you search, just go to YouTube and type in Life180, all one word.
It pops right up.
Yeah, you
subscribe.
Subscribe, hit the
bell. It's worth it.
Get notified. It's fun.
It's great, really.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I love, hopefully it just comes out. Like, I just love this stuff. I literally could sit here and talk to you guys about this stuff all day long. So nothing fires me up more.
Well, we're going to have you back, so we'll be able to do it again.
It's fun. And so, you know, I guess I'll end with this and I'll say it like this I believe that we're coming into unprecedented times, right? I'm not saying it's going to be, you know, apocalyptic or horrible, but I think it's going to be very unique for people. It's going to be stuff we've never seen before. You know, it's going to be an environment we've never seen before. Doesn't mean there's not opportunity. You know, people misunderstand challenging times for lack of opportunity. In fact, it's the opposite. I think Warren Buffett is the guy that said, you can make money in bull markets, but you can make a fortune in bear markets.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. are you prepared? Are you who you need to be to capitalize on it?
Yeah.
Right. Like, and so there's nothing more important that anybody can do right now, like than growing, investing in yourself, becoming who you need to be. Your need to create more revenue for yourself is going to be based on who you are and your skill set. So invest in yourself, surround yourself with the right people, get in the right networks, get in the right groups, find the right opportunities. And, you know, like when it comes to all this stuff, everything's going to flesh itself out. It'll all work out. It'll all work out. It always does.
It always does.
It always does.
It may not comes around.
I like how you said it earlier. It's not linear. It's cyclical.
This is like, listen, if you look at the 400-year history of the market cycles, it's boom, bust, boom, bust, boom, bust, boom, bust, boom, bust, every 8 to 12 years. This is just like, go back, look, here I am continuing the conversation. So go back to 2008, right? Or COVID, right? 2020, 2008, 2002 to 2002 was 2000 to 2002, that range. 1994 was a recession. 1987 was Black Friday. 1979 was a recessionary time. 1972, 1966, it's just, this is a cyclical thing, you know, like it happens. And yet people are somehow programmed to have short-term memories. And so we only remember a couple of years past, you know, like sadly, a lot of people already forgot 2008, you know, you know, a lot of people got hurt in 2008. A lot of people made a lot of money in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12. What you do, I would encourage how you handle the next 6 to 18 months is going to have a huge impact in the rest of your life. And I'm not telling anybody what to do. Like, I have my beliefs. I have what I do, right? My encouragement for everybody watching this is make sure whatever you do, that it's in alignment with your values and beliefs, because then you're going to execute, you're going to emotionally connect with it. You're going to commit to it. You will have fun and enjoyment and growing to become who you need to be, right? Like if it's some out there thing that's not in alignment, you're going to hate it and you're never going to do it. So like make sure what you're doing is in alignment with your values and beliefs.
Awesome.
And you'll win.
Well, Chris, thank you again so much for
that.
I mean, I hope we get to do this again.
We will.
You know, someday down the line. You know, just a quick shout out to our listeners, our early adopters who are listening to our channel and watching it on YouTube. We really, really appreciate you guys. It really helps to like and subscribe to our channel, and definitely share it if you can. And that would be awesome. And
amazing.
And great spending time with you, Chris.
I'll take this. I'll put it on my channel too and push some guys your way.
Oh, that'd be great.
That'd be awesome.
Really appreciate it.
Rock and roll.
All
awesome,
right.
guys. Well,
thanks,
Chris.
Chris.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you.